First Federal loans can help. Planning to remodel your kitchen or bathroom? Considering an addition, patio, or new roof? First Federal offers FHA Title I home improvement loans, home equity loans, construction loans, and owner-builder loans. With offices in Fayette, Greene, and Washington counties, your loan stays here. Visit a loan officer today or apply online at ffgc.bank. First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Greene County, member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS number 458729.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Chris Parker Jr., what's happening at Autoland for September?
September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and Autoland wants to focus on the Hyundai Hope on Wheels program, which has donated over $275 million to pediatric cancer research with every new Hyundai purchase since 1998. Hyundai is committed to pediatric cancer research, not just in September, but every day, all year long.
September is also the beginning of fall.
It's the beginning of the 2026 model year 2, with falling prices, great deals, and a super selection of 2025 Hyundai. Interest rates remain high at other banks, but you can take advantage of 0% interest for 48 months on the 25 Santa Fe, or 1.99% financing for 60 months on 25 Tucsons and Sonatas, or lease a 25 Hyundai Elantra SE for only $229 per month.
And every new Hyundai comes with 3-year free complimentary maintenance and Hyundai Owner Assurance, America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Autoland Hyundai, 25 East Fayette Street, Uniontown, or visit their website, AutolandHyundai.com.
And remember, you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
Concerned about your heart health? At WVU Medicine, we believe your heart deserves world-class care, close to home and always within reach. Our non-invasive cardiology team uses advanced tests like stress tests and cardiac MRI to diagnose and monitor heart conditions without surgery. Call 877-WVU, the number 4HRT, or visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
Ready to update your home? Find what you need at Zen's Construction Warehouse. Their friendly, knowledgeable staff will be happy to help you the old-fashioned way. Zen's is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5:30, Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 2. 485 Walnut Hill Road in Continental. Zen's Construction Warehouse, 724-366-8274. Or visit Zen's Construction Warehouse's Facebook page.
Zen's Construction Warehouse, our surplus, your savings.
On the next edition of The Catholic Accent, we catch up with the longest-serving priest in our diocese to see its history through his eyes as one who has been here since its beginning. We're celebrating milestones in the vocation of marriage and looking ahead to parishes marking historic anniversaries. Plus, we introduce you to the newest young men beginning their formation for the priesthood. Watch The Catholic Accent Sunday morning at 11:30 on WPXI.
I'll tell you what, folks, I just sat down with my budget worksheet, pencil, paper, and a calculator. And you know what? I cut my expenditures by 15.1%. That's real savings, and I froze my salary, saving the taxpayers over $1,800. I'm doing this to try to save money for the residents of Fayette County, because the commissioners have raised your taxes 78.2% in just 6 years. That's not right. On November 4th, 2025, vote for me, John Marietta, for Recorder of Deeds. Let's keep fighting for fiscal sanity and protect your hard-earned money.
'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of John Marietta and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Fayette County Recorder of Deeds Office or Fayette County government. This program is privately produced and funded, and no county resources are used for its production or promotion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was trucking up the highway, minding my own lane, with some dude in a Prius went and flipped me off. Guess my redneck hit 'em wrong. Seems like everyone these days is a ticking time bomb full of hate for folks like me who don't agree and ain't ever gonna change. And it gets me thinking, leave this long-haired country boy alone. And I start saying,
Hey everybody, this is John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly. And today's show is being brought to you by Miles' Garage and Tire Center, Mung's Auto Body, PatriotsOnline.com, Fayette County Recovery Storage and U-Haul. They're the IDF of Fayette County. JB's Market in Dunbar, Country Motor Sales, Gary's Auto Sales, Gunslingers in Connellsville, Tactical Civics, Auto Ordnance, Thundering Hills Feed and Supply, The Ink Spot in South Connellsville, Fayette County MAGA Patriots Group, Solid Foundation Ministry, Highline Motorsports, Gun Owners of America, New Life Free Methodist Church, Hillbilly Jon Radio, John Marietta for We the People. And I tell you what, it was a busy weekend, and I'm glad I'm here. We got a lot of football in, didn't we, Nick?
Oh yeah.
And it's time to regroup and try to watch some more football. The Steelers, I tell you what, they definitely surprised me. Aaron Rodgers did a good job yesterday, I thought, and I appreciate watching. I don't know, maybe it's because he's an older fellow and he's headed down that road that I'm already on. So I'm rooting for him this year. I really am. Let's start out with this. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's Proverbs 22:6. Folks, I'll tell you what. There's been a lot of talk lately, and frankly, a lot of nonsense when it comes to homeschooling. Some people think it means kids sitting around in pajamas all day, falling behind, unsocialized, and uninformed. That's just flat out wrong. Here in Fayette County, we know better. We know parents who roll up their sleeves, crack open books, and pour the heart into raising their kids with faith, discipline, and common sense. Homeschooling ain't about hiding from the word. It's about preparing kids to thrive in it. Now, I've got someone special joining us today. Actually, I got 3 ladies here, so I am very definitely outnumbered. I have Melanie Collins with me, and I have Sandy Myers.
No, it's Melody.
Melody Collins, and I have Sandy Myers, and I have Lydia Strickler. Melanie is Melody is a homeschooling mom who's in the trenches every single day. She's not reading from a textbook. She's living it. She's got to help clear the air and set the record straight about what homeschooling really looks like and why so many families are choosing it. And let me be real with you. This ain't about politics. It's about freedom. And one more time. This ain't about politics. It's about freedom, parental rights, and raising up our next generation without the mess of bureaucracy and indoctrination. So stick around. We're diving into the truth about homeschooling with someone who knows it inside and out. And I'm glad you just got a hold of me. And we'll get you on the radio again when we get through this. Lydia's over there giggling, and Sandy's got a big smile on her face because she's not here, right here sitting beside me. But anyways, I appreciate you ladies getting a hold of me about this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and it was like, things come together for a reason, and I always believe that. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself a little bit. So you're a homeschooling mom.
This is my 15th year of homeschooling of my own children. Before that, my parents homeschooled my younger two brothers, yes. And I helped a little bit with that. I've been on the side of against homeschooling, and now I am the leader of the local group serving southwestern PA of over 750 families.
And the group is
Liberty Home Educators.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions here, and if I get off on the wrong direction, you can kick me like my wife does. She usually pulls on my ear. But anyways, we'll let it go at that. But what happened with the 750 children or families that are doing this? Do they all use the same curriculum?
No, every family can choose what curriculum they want to use. There's so many resources, free. There's videos that can be used. There's quite a lot out there to pick from.
Well, I know I have a neighbor that lives close to me, and they homeschooled their children probably from the time they went into like junior high school. And the reason being is the daughter was an athlete, and it was easier for them to do that because she was doing acrobatics and things like that. But the one thing that I do know, they used the curriculum, I believe it was from Penn State, and I know people that use curriculum from Liberty Baptist, from that'd be in Virginia, and there's different ones out there. I think Cornell. Go ahead, Lydia.
Well, I'm here partly as a former homeschool mom, but also I have done evaluations, which is part of the oversight the state requires. And I have met parents coming to me with so many curriculums, religious ones, non-religious ones they've put together themselves because they've done so much research to find out what's best for their own child. So even as an evaluator trying to help the parents, I found that they gave me insight to how much is out there. There's just hundreds of options. And the other thing, if I may,
go ahead.
You can take free stuff, but a lot of people put a lot of money into what they're doing with their kids.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
They're paying taxes and paying to homeschool their children.
Well, that's one thing that I have a problem with, not about the homeschooling. I believe that money should follow the children wherever they go. That's one of the things that I've said for a long time. I think when Donald Trump took office, the first time they took him down to the Department of Education and they showed him this great big beautiful building, and he was standing there in awe. And finally he says it takes this great big beautiful building and all this staff to write 50 checks. So I mean, and you think about it, anytime the government gets involved in things, bureaucracy is what kills it. So, anyways, back to you again. So I can get off my soapbox. So right now you're helping your nephews or nieces or
my own sons.
Oh, your own sons. Okay.
Yes.
And you want to give out their ages?
Well, I've graduated one son through homeschooling, and the other three are middle school and under.
Okay. Then, so
I'm still in this for a long time.
Yeah. So the oldest son went on to college?
No, he is working locally at a nice establishment that opened recently.
Well, that's good.
And doing well there. And they employ other homeschool children.
So okay. So my first question is, what's your biggest obstacle?
People. The lack of knowledge of the homeschool law, that is the biggest hurdle to overcome with all this.
Because, like, the school districts don't understand it, really?
School districts, people in general, everybody likes to bring up, what about socialization? What about, going to the prom? These were things that I said to my parents when they decided they were going to homeschool my younger brothers. I was worried about the missing prom and graduation and all those things. And in my wise, young, 20-some years old, I offered my help because, of course, I knew better than my parents, not at all. And that really opened my eyes to what homeschooling really is. And we can do proms. We offer a graduation ceremony every year. So
I know that I have nephews and nephews and nieces that they were homeschooled in a couple different parts of the country, and one of the things was they had a dance, they had a graduation, and they did them kind of things because your group takes care of that, right?
We don't do prom, but there is, like, Pittsburgh area does offer prom. There's so many resources in this area.
And I'm thinking that maybe the school isn't just about going to the prom.
Exactly.
I mean, that's in my hillbilly, that's in my best hillbilly. How's that? Okay, go ahead, Lydia.
And the truth is, the law has provisions for students who want to go to VOTEC and do partial homeschool. They can do sports and other extracurriculars. They are not kept out of the social life of the school. Parents homeschool for other reasons, and there's a multitude of reasons why people do.
Well, and I can see that. I can understand that. One of the things that I do know that, but when I went to school, when I graduated from school back in 50 years ago, almost now, if you went to Votech, you could leave and you could work half a day. You go to school at the Votech in the morning, and then you could go work a job for 5 or 6 hours. And some of the people that, I want to say guys because that's who was, but they were taking learning to be machinists, and they would, several different companies would take them on and let them do them kind of things. I mean, it wouldn't be any different than somebody learning to be, working in graphic arts, and they could go to a print shop or something in the afternoon. And I know that's what you can strive for is hands-on a lot of things with the homeschooling.
Yes, that's certain kids. One of my children is definitely a hands-on learner. If I could figure out how to teach him to build a motor and learn everything else, but he's still young, that would be perfect for him. The other two, they're my bookworms. The youngest one, he knows more about space than probably quite a lot of people. So homeschooling is wonderful because not every child learns the same way. You can tailor it to each child, even in the family. I know a lot of people say, go how your family learns. Well, even in that, each child learns differently, and what their future goal is, you can study those things that will help them versus maybe some classes that really won't be that great in their career choice.
Now, you've done this for many years, and I know the lady sitting beside you has helped you out probably a lot.
Well, no.
No?
I did homeschool, but we've met more recently, and my homeschooling experience is probably somewhat different. But I had taught school. I went to public school. I taught school. 3 of my children graduated from Christian school. I only homeschooled 2. So I've had a wide variety. And I do believe parents have that choice to use public, private, religious, homeschool, what's best for their family and their children.
So you feel like the biggest challenge to you is the people that just don't understand?
Yeah, the lack of understanding, the thinking of we are sitting home all day. If anybody knows me, that's not what we've been doing lately. The not knowing what you're going to do when you get to those harder subjects. Well, I'm going to learn right along. If my kid wants to learn calculus, I'm going to learn it right along with him. I'm going to find a way to get him that education, because it doesn't have to be just me. They can do dual enrollment with colleges. They can, you can hire a tutor. There's so many different ways to get that education, to get those classes that you may have had a hard time in high school with.
I remember taking calculus in high school. It was painful.
It was painful to try to teach my son.
But that was trigonometry. Then you took calculus, and of course geometry. It was no problem for me. I think I had a couple good teachers, and that was the help that I had. My English teacher one of my English teachers, she listens to my radio show all the time, and she critiques me quite well. So, I don't have to do it. But anyways, so okay, you feel like the challenge is that, but the curriculum you put in place is, let's just be real specific. What do you? Which one do you use?
I use a combination of different ones. I use Abeka for language and math. One kid uses Apologia for science and Knotgrass for history. The other two, it's a combination of the Abeka science and history. And also, we've learned quite a lot about different things that have happened locally just by walking on the Gap Trail. Different coal mine accidents, train accidents, just by walking, being outside, doing things. And that has been a wonderful way for them to learn, is outside, walking trails, doing bike rides, asking about a plant, asking about a tree, asking about something we've seen, and being able to look that up on the internet and learn right there with them what the things are.
I would think that now with the way we have the internet, it would be probably a lot. I would think that would be a great aid to everybody. I mean, because you could. I actually took a constitutional class not too long ago, and I think it was like 8 hours. But if I'd had to travel, or maybe it was 10 hours, but if I'd have had to travel to do it, then I'd give up so much time, and I could do it. Well, of course, I'm doing it for my own benefit, but I could do it any time of day or night, and I could do an hour and then stop and do another hour. But and I know that you have to have a regiment. I know that you have to have a regiment, because if you don't, things don't go so good. Go ahead.
I'll speak to that because I was a high school teacher and then started homeschooling my last two children. In homeschool, I was regimented. But I learned that not everybody has to do that. As I evaluated other families, they were just as successful being a little more tailored to each child. And so there's a lot of variety out there. But I think for the most part, the statistics would show that the outcomes are great. You can get your child in. I have a friend who was frustrated with trying to teach her child, but he went into an apprenticeship to learn how to repair elevators, and now he has a good job doing that. If he wants to learn something else, he's got money to start training in some other way. My two went to college. One was a violin teacher, and the other's a lawyer now. Who knew? But I'm thankful for the kids that graduated from Christian school, and I'm thankful for my own public school training when I was younger. It was much different, but so I guess what I'm saying is there's so much variety in homeschooling. There's no really one way to do it, but most parents care, and they really dig in and research and find out what their kids need, and that's been my experience as an evaluator.
I think the key to this whole deal is what you just said, parents.
Yeah.
I mean, if the parents want to do this and want to move forward and they want to correctly, they're the ones that have to be more regimented than the children, even to make sure things get done in a particular way.
Maybe Melody knows the law really well, so I'm going to ask you to let her speak to what the law is, because that's where the oversight comes in, and there's certain regulations that do keep you on track and do keep you working. So she's my expert.
So there's a you have to do a certain amount.
Well, we have to. We have to have the same amount of time that the public school has to have, 180 days. There's also hours. I believe it's 900 at the elementary level, and secondary is 990 hours. But most track the days. It's a lot easier than writing down, we did science from this time to this time, and adding that up. We also have to turn an affidavit, either a notarized affidavit or an unsworn declaration in to start off our school year every year. Along with that, we also turn in a list of objectives, which goes over what we plan to go over with the children, what goals we have in language, in math, in history. All these things have to be sent into the superintendent of each school district. And in that affidavit, we attest to various things that we have a high school diploma or a GED, that nobody in the house has been convicted of. There's a list of crimes that, you can't, if it's happened in the past 5 years, you can't.
Nobody in the house can be guilty of those crimes.
Yeah. We also, I'm trying to think, that we have regular dental and medical visits, and that those are on file. So there's a lot of things that we have to say that we are doing, and we cannot lie on these documents. Otherwise, we face perjury, which I had to look that up today and realized in PA, perjury is a third-degree felony, and we can have jail time up to 7 years or fines up to $15,000 if we have lied on those things that we've turned in to this school district. Now, at the end of the year, we meet with an evaluator. And there are certain years that the children have to do standardized testing. They can do the PSSAs at the school, or they can pick one from a list that's been approved by the PDE. And we show that to the evaluator, samples of work throughout the year. The evaluator will interview.
That is another thing. When people come to an evaluator, they have to talk with the child. A parent can't just bring all this stuff without the child. So that's a little level of oversight as well. And you talk with the child, I always used to get them to read to me or talk to me about what they liked and what were they having trouble with, and give some advice if the parents wanted it. And also in these objectives that Melody said had to be turned in, there are subjects required every year by law in both elementary and secondary grades. And then there are some subjects that have to be taught once in elementary and once in high school. And they all have to be in the objectives that are turned in to the superintendent of the school district.
Okay, so... go ahead.
Another thing about evaluator oversight is that the parent has to keep a logbook that shows at least 180 days of school.
You just took the question away. Go ahead.
And they have to show a portfolio that shows continuous progress in each subject. So the evaluator's looking at that, and that's part of the oversight over what the parent has been doing.
Now, this happens at the end of every school year, or does it happen during the school year too?
It happens at the end of this school year. Now, there's quite a few homeschool families, and if they waited till the very end, because we have to have things turned in. The evaluators will give a letter that we turn in to the school district that says we've met the requirements to close out our school year
on track or something. I only did a few people at Uniontown School District would send me people that didn't know where to find anybody, and they usually waited, and then I was rushed. But that is another thing the law says. If the superintendent has any reason to think that a parent is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they send a certified letter to the parent informing them that they need certain documentation. So anytime in the school year, the school district can do that if they have reason to do it. But they don't usually have, really. So.
Now, is it? I'm sure that this is part of the case too, but I'll ask the question. Some people, they have some children they might homeschool, and some might go to the public schools or a Christian school or a private school of some kind also at the same time. So I don't know if you've been in that situation. I was just trying to think what kind of a challenge that would be, because you might have you might have a child that's homeschooling, and they're getting a lot more attention, and they might excel past the person that's a year older than them in the same grade.
And that is a possibility. Even when they're all homeschooled, they can. I have my youngest he's closing in on his brother that's about 2 years older than him, but it doesn't mean that one's smarter than the other. One's not lazy. It's just the way that children learn.
Exactly.
And I know my oldest, he before the law changed with the VOTEC and being able to take a 25% of a school day in the school, he went to VOTEC. Now, that was rough. He had gone to a private Christian school for kindergarten and first grade. And that was a little easier. That was get him up, get him on the bus. That's what we knew. Well, high school, they get up a lot earlier. And that was a little rougher. However, family, and you need... this just isn't the mom and the dad or the grandparents. This is the entire family, the entire community helping these children. And so he was out there at the VOTEC. Then that was around 2020. So things got a little interesting and weird at that time. But it was it's such a gap in age between them.
I think overall they got that way with it didn't matter where you were schooling. Actually, probably the homeschooling probably was a big asset to everybody at that time, because they were. I have a granddaughter that ended up. She couldn't get it. She couldn't grasp what was going on, and she had to make up a year because the way it worked with the COVID. And well, of course, I call it the Chinese plague on the Hillbilly Jon show. But anyways, okay, Lydia, go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm getting old now. I forget. I was thinking about how the different kids need different things, and even in our own family. My grandchildren now, some are in public school, some are in private secular school, some are in homeschooled, and one will be going to Christian school next year. And I do not tell my children how to raise their children. I hope I set an example, and I think they've all chosen what was best for their kids and that they're all doing well. But I can remember when my sister-in-law started homeschooling about 40 years ago that I was appalled. You only had a secretarial degree. I was a snob. That lady did what you were talking about, Melody. She learned everything right along with her son. 3 of the boys were in school, but one needed her attention at home. And then I had a college friend that we graduated together, and Phil and I started teaching in Christian school, and she had put her kids in public school because her dad was the principal of the local elementary school. But all of a sudden, she started homeschooling, and I was like, you're nuts. But as I watched them succeed, I started to change my mind about the possibilities that people had. And one of her kids is a lawyer, and one's a teacher, and one's the maintenance man at a local school, and they've all done well, and it was so well for them, to have variety.
So, the one thing that I did want to ask you, I like to study history. I like to watch anything I can about history, and sometimes it. But I assume you teach the Declaration of Independence to all your children.
Well, my 12-year-old, he likes to read, so he has gone through various historical fiction books. So he's learning that himself. The younger two, we are working up to that. Right now we are studying colonial times, and we'll soon be getting into George Washington and all of that. So that will be fun. But my youngest, he's my World War II buff. He knows things.
So he studies MacArthur.
If it's in for Christmas, he wanted a 500 facts about World War II and a world map, and let's just say he's making me go Google things just to make sure that he is correct, and he has been, and that's been interesting a few times.
I think that's great. I've been doing a lot of things here with radio. I've been able to talk to a lot of different people from all in all parts of the country, different parts of the world even, and it's kind of neat the things that you can find out, just the little tidbits that get passed over. I'm going to get the number wrong, but about George Washington, he was shot at. I think he had 11. I think he was shot at 11 times before, and was never hit. So I mean, like I said, he had holes in his uniform. I think it was 11. It might have been 17. But you think about all these things that they don't teach in school, at school now. And one of the things that I learned to write with with a ink pen, and you write cursive, of course, and I can still remember the teacher smacking me on the hand because I didn't do it quite right. But I think that was one of the things that we've left our children not. They have to learn that. They have to learn that. And I was so grateful that my grandchildren know how to write that way, and it's important because most of our documents, even at the recorder's office, everything that's old is written that way. So, but I'll let you. I know I'm asking you probably more questions than you wanted me to. But,
it's fine.
We did. We got over the annual evaluation part of it. Do you want to talk about how some other things about how you have to report records and things?
Well, let's see some certain things. If a child is recognized as a special needs student, they have an extra step that they must go through. They need to have their objectives approved by a special education teacher. And evaluators, there is a list of different requirements that they must meet.
That's true.
So not just anybody can go get Joe Smith off the street to come and evaluate my children. As a homeschooler, we have to make sure they meet the qualifications so that we are following the law. So there's a lot of things that we have to do to be in compliance with the homeschool law. We just can't do what we want.
Homeschool law in Pennsylvania is one of the strongest in the country, and it was passed by the state legislature. Part of it seems like it is oversight, but on the other hand, it was designed to be passed by the legislature so that the Department of Education couldn't change on a whim every time you changed a governor. This is law, not rules from a bureaucracy.
Okay, well that makes sense. I mean, once the governor can't change it, and that makes sense. Yeah, I get that.
And it also keeps superintendents from districts from asking for things that they feel that they need. We follow the law, they follow the law. So they can't say, we want to see.
Right, there's no whim.
Yeah.
There's no whim in any of this. And
Yes.
the truth is the schools are very busy. And when they had to look over all of this material, many of them just didn't really do it. Today, the evaluators are more responsible for looking over the materials and keeping records of high school credits. The law was changed recently on that one.
I have a friend of mine that he has a son that he graduated high school. This is a unique situation, but he graduated high school at 14 and a half years old. Mm-hmm. And this just happened last spring. And he asked his dad, they already got him placed in a college, and his dad really wasn't thrilled about him going away to school. So what they did was he asked his dad, he said, can I take a year off before I go in? And his dad said it was cool with that. But like I said, but you know what? He's still doing online classes at the same time. And the kid will probably have, he'll probably have almost half of his college credits done before he goes. Because he's one of them people that when he gets on a computer, he just don't stop. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that the different different times you felt that way, and I'm sure you've had to push your children to do things too.
I've had to push myself to do things. It's not easy.
It's work, and it's not something you do. And some people try it for a year or two, and it's not really for them. You have to commit. I mean, sometimes a year or two is all your child needs, and they can go back to school. But the computer thing made me think about there is a difference between cyber school
I was
and
going to ask you
homeschool.
that. Go ahead.
Cyber school has to follow the public school law. So what they don't have to turn in the same things that we do. Some of the cyber schools, online schools, are district sponsored. Some are like a statewide. They have to go through whatever approval.
They're approved by the state, like a charter school, but they have a schedule, and your child has to be logged on in that schedule. And if somebody says, "Oh, they just do it when they want," then their cyber school isn't doing what they're supposed to do, because they have to be in attendance the days.
That's kind of what happened during the shutdowns of the schools, and they were trying to get everyone to follow a protocol, and it just wasn't working.
Well, and to be fair to the teachers, they didn't really have training to teach online. It's different teaching in a classroom when you can see eyeballs and know if they're listening or not. So it was just a new total bad situation for everybody. The kids, it hurt the kids the most.
It did. I mean, it wasn't about they didn't have a prom that year, or they didn't have the football games weren't. But it did. I really feel like it put all the children back a little bit, and we're not going to go into that today, because I really believe in her.
I think what the point is that in Pennsylvania, the law has oversight over these families at a reasonable level, and people today are calling for more oversight to actually go into the homes, and the problem with that is, I would say, Fourth Amendment rights of your home. But if you're not going to go into everybody's home, you cannot go into a special category unless the children are under state care. That's a little different.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. If they're under the state care, then that would be something that would be
totally different.
It'd be a totally different thing.
Yes.
So I do know that when my brother homeschooled, one of the biggest challenges was his boys wanted to play football and basketball, and actually he had to actually fight to get them.
They can now.
And that was one of the things that they got changed.
Right. Our son ran track and field for Uniontown his senior year.
It seemed like when they wanted to do like it was football and basketball was the two biggest ones that they had problems with. Now that they didn't play, the one boy might have played baseball, but that was the two. But then once the coaching, and they had to be there. They had to be there every day at the right time, and they had to be ready to go and do all them things. So it was another challenge upon the people that were teaching them.
And now, with the recent law change on allowing the students that the districts have to, things do change a little bit with that. The families then follow what the district policies are. So we have families that are going down that route, and they have to, for their kid to play sport, have to turn in grades every week, just like the public school.
Yep. The high school.
Right. The law does allow the school district to have some oversight and say, because it's their program.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, let's face it. This is an extracurricular activity, so they ought to be able to, they ought to be able to prove that they're doing it. They're maintaining their schooling at the right level in order to do that. We've got a couple minutes left. Is there anything you would like to close up with?
Go ahead.
You know me. I was thinking, again, there are many reasons that people homeschool. And people are not all Christian or Jewish or, Protestant or Catholic. People have their own reasons. For the three of us, though, our Christian worldview is our primary motivation for why we did it. There are other ways for your children to have spiritual guidance, but Christian homeschoolers tend to be in church, and that's another area of socialization for the kids and other people speaking into their lives, helping them to grow. And so for us, I think we wanted to present the Lord Jesus, first of all, to our children. And that isn't necessary for everybody. People, that's the part about America where you have liberty. But for us, that was our goal.
And we have, in our group, we do have some that they're homeschooling to make sure that their beliefs and their values are instilled in their children. We have some whose children are in sports or gymnastics and traveling a lot. My family, we recently have some medical things going on, and we've been running a lot back and forth to Children's Hospital, and I can't even imagine how this would go, getting excuses, missing school. We've had to do a week-long, well, it was during the summer, but a week-long testing down there. Had another son do overnight testing. So families that are having medical issues, families whose child is being bullied, so many different reasons that people are choosing. And it's not just single just not stay-at-home moms. It's also working moms. But guys, if anybody has any questions or wants to find out more about homeschooling, they can find us at Liberty Home Educators on Facebook. And I'd be more than happy to sit down with somebody and answer questions that they have, ease any fears that they have.
Well, I appreciate you ladies coming in. I really do. We got about a half a minute left. I do want to get this out there really quickly. If say a prayer for a friend of mine. His name is Fletcher Major Fox. He's been diagnosed with cancer, and he has a tough battle ahead. I want to thank you all. On this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad, smile with the sad, love what you got, remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. Learn from your mistakes. People change. Things go wrong. Just remember the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored